Hello and welcome back to Eurofootball Daily, where we're running through 10 players whose careers are fading into absolutely nothing. It's a happy one, so let's get stuck in. Number 10, Juan Mata. On the 1st of July 2012, Juan Mata replaced Andres Iniesta, with Spain 3-0 up against Italy in the final of Euro 2012 with 87 minutes on the clock. Just a minute later, the then 24-year-old sealed the win and La Roca's third consecutive tournament triumph with a composed finish into an empty net. But fast forward 10 years and the now 33-year-old's career has completely ground to a halt. He's played 1,431 minutes of league action since the start of 2019-20, marginally less than the perennially injured Paul Pogba has during this campaign alone. What's more, he's only made 3 more starts than Axel Tuanzebe since the start of last season, and the defender has spent the last 8 months on loan at Napoli. It's a crying shame because whilst the Spaniard was never going to thrive on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's quick transitions, he certainly could have excelled at another club. After all, this is a player who still produced 0.4 goal contributions per game across his whole Premier League career, 0.1 more than Paul Scholes. To have only ever made 274 Premier League appearances at an average of 23 per season is a massive waste for a player who at one stage looked like a legend in the making. 9. Tiémoué Bakayoko. When Bakayoko hangs up his boots, he can reflect on a career that has seen him win a league title with Monaco, an FA Cup with Chelsea, and play alongside the likes of Mbappe, Kante, Insigne and Zlatan for clubs across Europe. But after a promising loan spell at Napoli last season, Bakayoko decided to embark on his 4th consecutive loan spell from parent club Chelsea and rejoin AC Milan, with whom he spent the 2018-19 campaign. But whilst that season saw Bakayoko make 31 league appearances as Il Rossoneri finished 5th, their highest placing for 6 years, the arrivals of Kessié, Benacer and Tonali in the intermittent period has seen the one-cap Frenchman tumble down the pecking order. This season, he's been afforded just 485 minutes of league action, 22nd in Pioli's squad, below 5th choice centre-back Gabbia and backup keeper Tata Rushanu. When he's played, he's understandably looked rusty, with his dribble success rate falling from 70% last term to just 54%. Factor in just 23 passes per game, 8 fewer than Maignan in goal, and it's clear he isn't offering the thrust or control that his manager desires. Almost certain to be sold by Chelsea this summer, we really aren't sure where the former Monaco star will end up next. 8. Timothy Fosu-Mensah. It might be a bit harsh to say Timothy Fosu-Mensah is fading into nothing at such an early point in his career. After all, he's only 24 and recently embarked on a new adventure with Bayer Leverkusen in pursuit of regular first-team football. However, the defensive player seems a long way from the heights he was expected to reach with Manchester United. The Dutchman, born to Ghanaian parents, made his United debut as an 18-year-old in January 2016 under Louis van Gaal, and by the end of the 2016-17 campaign had surpassed 20 appearances in all competitions. This earned him loan moves away, first to Crystal Palace where he impressed, and then to Fulham. It started well, but an ACL injury would rule him out for 8 months. Just 9 appearances between 2019 and 2021 for United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would see Fosu-Mensah leave for Champions League chasing Bayer Leverkusen, but another ACL injury in March 2021 would see him miss 9 more months, once again stunting his development. He needs to get his career back on track and quickly, otherwise it might be another case of what might have been. 7. Joe Rodon. Expected to lead the Welsh defence for years to come, hopes were high for Joe Rodon when he broke through at Swansea City. The 6'4" centre-half made his debut for the Swans at the start of the 2018-19 campaign, just before his 21st birthday, and quickly developed into one of British football's most promising youngsters, racking up half a century of appearances in 2 years at the Liberty Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur came calling and paid £11 million for his services, but almost 2 years into his time in North London, and Rodon has played just 13 Premier League games. Only one of those has come this season, when he appeared as an early substitute in a 3-0 defeat to Crystal Palace back in September. This means that since Antonio Conte took over from Nuno Espirito Santo, Rodon has been limited to just 3 cup appearances, despite the Italians' preference to field 3 centre-halves. Spurs have already indicated that they will listen to offers for the 24-year-old this summer, after both Newcastle and Brighton were sniffing around in January. Hopefully a fresh start elsewhere will finally see him realise his potential. 6. Reinier. Real Madrid may have a history of striking gold in Brazil, securing Vinicius Jr. for €46 million in 2018, then landing the promising Rodrigo a year later, but the €30 million signing of Reinier in 2020 looks set to be one of the biggest busts in recent football history. After 6 months acclimatising to Europe, the attacker would move to Borussia Dortmund on loan, but this deal hasn't gone to plan. The 20-year-old has made just 4 starts in all competitions in almost 2 years with the club, totaling little over 700 minutes and has just 1 goal and 1 assist to his name. With no significant injuries to speak of, it appears that Ranier is simply not good enough to regularly feature for his temporary club. With Dortmund declining to sign him on a permanent basis and no room in the Los Blancos squad, Ranier looks destined to be sent on loan once more, and even that's on the assumption that La Liga leaders can't shift him permanently instead. We don't want to speak too soon, but there's every possibility that Ranier appears on failed wonder kid lists for years to come. 5. Dani Ceballos. Another current Real Madrid player, Dani Ceballos really has faded into the background after it looked like he'd finally kickstarted his career. Signed by Los Blancos after 3 impressive years at Real Betis in 2017, the plan was for the Spaniard to be a long-term successor to either Casemiro, Kroos or Modric in the midfield. After a couple of years developing, Arsenal signed him on loan, giving him regular game time between 2019 and 2021, making 77 appearances for 2 years in Mikel Arteta's side, even stating he returned for the second season because of the Spanish manager. Upon heading back to Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti's reluctance to rotate his midfield hasn't been to the 25-year-old's benefit. An ankle injury sustained at the Olympics ruled him out until Christmas, but even then Ceballos has made just 1 start all campaign. This was only to give regular starters a rest ahead of an important Champions League fixture, as no senior squad member has less minutes than him this season, with Modric and Kroos showing no signs of slowing down and Eduardo Camavinga also waiting patiently. Ceballos is turning into the forgotten man in the Spanish capital. 4. Ross Barkley. Who else forgot Ross Barkley is still at Chelsea? The Liverpudlian made the move from Everton back in January 2018 and was expected to develop into one of England's very best. But now he's lucky even to be named on the bench at Stamford Bridge. 2018-19 was his high watermark for appearances at the club, with 48 across all competitions, but he hasn't eclipsed that total in the 3 years combined since. A loan move to Aston Villa was meant to reignite his career in 2021, and he started promisingly with 2 goals in his first 2 matches. However, a hamstring injury brought an end to his brief resurgence, as he went from 3 goal contributions in his first 6 games in Birmingham to just 1 in his final 18 appearances. Thomas Tuchel's opinion of Barkley was clear to see this season when the Englishman wasn't even handed a squad number ahead of the first fixture. Now entering the final weeks of the campaign, he has just 151 league minutes, and if Chelsea can't shift him this summer, he'll certainly leave for free when his contract expires in 2023. But the question remains, is he even worth a punt for another Premier League club? 3. Julian Draxler. Rewind to January 2011 and a 17-year-old Julian Draxler burst onto the scene with Schalke, and by the end of the season had provided a goal and an assist in Die Koningsblauen 5-0 win in the DFB Pokal final, the club's last trophy. 30 goals and 29 assists in 170 games persuaded Wolfsburg to fork out a club record €44 million on the former Bundesliga Young Player of the Year, and within 16 months, PSG had splashed an additional €38 million to bring him to Paris. It hasn't all been a disaster. After all, the versatile forward made 93 appearances across his first 2 full seasons and even contributed 10 league goals in 31 games as recently as 2018-19. But the arrivals of Icardi, Sarabia, Kean and Messi, some of whom have already departed, have seen Draxler's already limited minutes collapse. He's made 24 league starts over the last 3 seasons and has only been given 542 minutes this term, 21st in the PSG squad. Now 28 years old and having wasted many of his best years, the forward, who still has 2 years remaining on his contract, has been linked with moves to Borussia Dortmund, Leverkusen and Hertha Berlin. We suggest he takes that opportunity. 2. Samuel Umtiti. The football world looked on with confusion and not a little jealousy when cash-strapped Barcelona somehow managed to splurge €55 million on Manchester City's Ferran Torres in January. Coupled with the arrivals of Aubameyang and Traoré, Torres, with 7 goals and 6 assists in 21 games, has managed to reinvigorate the Blaugrana and give them a strong chance of finishing second in La Liga. But how did they manage it? Well, their CEO, Mathieu Alemán, who built his reputation at Valencia, persuaded Umtiti to sign a new 4.5-year contract, which will spread his wages he was supposed to earn until 2023 over that entire period. Shortly after the extension was announced, Barca were able to increase their financial fair play quota and sign Torres. Given Umtiti has played 90 minutes of football all season and started 7 League and Champions League games since the start of 2021, this was an incredible sacrifice from a player who badly needs to get his career back on track. 1. Eden Hazard. No one could have predicted what's happened to Eden Hazard, a 2-time Premier League champion and former Player of the Year who had played at least 43 games in each of his 7 seasons in West London. Hazard's luck completely deserted him from the day he signed for Real Madrid for €100 million in June 2019. He's missed 65 games in just under 3 years, meaning he's still only started 28 La Liga games for Los Blancos, a tally topped by 5 Real players in 21-22 alone. This season, he's been sidelined for 12 games with injury, an improvement on his 33 missed last term, but let's let's face it, even if he had been fit, he'd been nothing more than a bystander. Vinicius Jr. has shot to prominence with an insane 18 goals and 18 assists in 46 games. 4 more goal contributions already than Hazard managed in all competitions in his 2014-15 Player of the Year campaign. On a reported €474,000 per week, he's almost certain to end his sorry association with the 13 times European champions this summer. So that's our look at 10 players fading into nothing. Where have we been harsh? Where have we got this spot on? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed to Football Daily, hit that notification bell and give the video a like, and we'll see you next time.